like an overflowing cup. I can't say a word, but I can wave my hand. I can't say a word, but I can wave my hand. I get so full. I get so full. I would explain. I explain for God has been just that good. When I think His love for me and how He's looked out for me, I can't say enough. He's my overflowing cup. I can't say a word, but I can wave my hand. I can't say a word, but I. We changed up our music a little bit.
Still beautiful, still beautiful.
I just like everyone to know that is my mother singing. Very talented woman she is.
Yeah,
She
she
is an
definitely is.
Yes, she is. So we will switch it up every once in a while so we can listen to the beautiful sounds of Melody Shelby. Um, so we're on tonight and we're talking about tariffs. And we're going to do this and we're going to try to share some information and make sure that everybody is on the same page in understanding tariffs and how they work and where we currently are um, with tariffs. But before we do that, Robin, I'm going to get off the screen and I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about something that uh, touched us all, but that you voiced concern for two young girls. So I'm going to get off and give you the stage.
First of all, hello everyone. I'd like to start out by saying Tammy and I would like to give our sincere apology, condolences, and prayers to the families and the students, the staff at the Roy J. Smith Middle School in Killeen, Texas. There was a stabbing last week, which resulted in a child passing away, a 14-year-old little girl. At this point in time, we do not know the outcome. They are doing an investigation, and we don't know the logistics to the investigation. But we do once again want to send our condolences and our prayers for everyone involved and to all our friends, students, and teachers. In a world where we have a chance to choose to be anything that we want to be, I pray that we teach our children and ourselves to choose kindness whenever necessary. Thank you and continue to watch Hidden Voices. We have a treat in store for you today. Thank you.
And Robin, do you want to just give them a little backdrop of a little bit of what you know, even though some of it still needs to be confirmed?
As far as what I know is that, like I said, that there's an ongoing investigation. There's some back and forth. I'm a little hesitant to say this, but they said that they're at this. I just read something just a few minutes ago, and it said they're not sure about the bullying aspect, but it may have been some bullying involved. Um, but like I say, ongoing investigation, so we will, touch you up on that. And like I say, just try to choose kindness at all times.
Thank you so much, Robin. And like you said, our condolences go out to the school, to the students, to the teachers, and to the families, and prayers for the young lady who lost her life at the age of 14, um, and that whole community that's been affected by this. So we're gonna talk about tariffs today, and there is a lot of stuff and a lot of misinformation about tariffs. So hopefully we'll be able to fill in a few blanks today. So as usual, we usually start out with a video, and the reason we do that is because we like to make sure that we don't leave anything out and that we have all, really important information in one spot so that you will get it. These videos are never long. They're usually ranging between 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes at the most. But the ones today are relatively short. We're going to just start with the first one. If I can't say a word, just wait, but I can wait for him.
Joining us now is John Boyd Jr. He's a soybean farmer and the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. John, an early apology from me if we have to.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And the president said that he loved farmers. And this is a very critical time for America's farmers. Every time the president uses the word tariff, he caused complete chaos and confusion. And it's created a state of emergency for America's farmers. Right now, there's $30 billion at USDA that haven't been dispersed to America's farmers. It's planting season. We don't have farm operating loans in place. Those are grants and other services that have been cut and frozen to America's farmers. And my message to the president today, if you love America's farmers, release that money so that farmers can get in the field and put their planters out here. From the last time the president talked about tariffs in his first presidency, the price of soybeans, and I'm a soybean farmer, went from $16.80 a bushel all the way down to $6 a bushel. And then he created the marketing facility program that basically black farmers and other farmers around the country had to apply to USDA to get financial relief. Yeah. And anybody who's been following our story knows that black farmers and the government don't seem to go in the same sentence and work too well for us. And many of us did not get the money. And we were told this morning that the president is going to be helping white farmers from South Africa come to the United States and offer them some type of homestead. And I'm totally opposed to that when we have land and inventory that we can't get through a case called Board versus USA. I'm calling on the president to resolve that and help 17,000 black and other farmers of color right here at home in the United States.
The hope is that something's going to happen between now and then that could avoid this.
All eyes on the White House as President Trump vows to impose tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico.
The fear would be that we would see higher prices as a result, not necessarily because vehicles are being produced in Canada, but because a lot of the components, like aluminum, steel, are coming from there.
Car dealerships are not the only ones voicing concerns.
From my suppliers, they are telling me things to get ready. Things could go up, especially disposable stuff, cups and napkins and plates, aluminum, all that. A lot of that stuff, believe it or not, comes from Canada.
The owner of K's Food Supply provides local restaurants with much needed items from disposable goods to frozen foods. And he says if his prices go up, he'll have to pass those costs on to others.
In short term, it's going to be very bad for business owners and consumers. I really don't want to raise the prices on people, but if I have to, what am I going to do? You know, I have to survive too.
In fact, some call it a fight to survive.
I mean, it's not fair.
And many dealerships tell us that they're seeing higher foot traffic as many consumers anticipate higher prices.
We've gotten phone calls. Customers are anxious also about wanting to make sure that they're purchasing or leasing their vehicle before any possible ramifications from the tariffs. There's so much trade that goes on between the United States, Canada, Mexico. It really touches every part of the economy.
In Southfield, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
Are you able to afford the price increase?
No, not really. Haven't been able to afford much.
Like many locals, Robert Thurston is just trying to make ends meet.
Not going to casinos, just saving every dime I can. Working overtime, basically. I mean, how can you prepare?
But even his maintenance job is already seeing the effects of the tariffs.
I know where I work, a lot of the vendors are, scared to death.
So, some people I spoke with are already thinking ahead. They heard the tariffs were coming and acted.
We bought a new giant TV screen, washing machine, dryer, dishwasher. We did all that because we know that the tariff is going to have an effect on it.
Along with the new tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, President Trump announced during his speech to Congress Tuesday that more are coming.
April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in, and whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth.
Are you worried about this?
Oh, hell yeah. You have to be.
It's still unclear on how many countries the U.S. would tariff, but changes have already been seen to the current ones. Wednesday, President Trump granted a 1-month exemption for U.S. automakers to prepare for these new taxes. The president hoping that more companies will start manufacturing here in the U.S., one of his main goals. While these increases could affect all of us in one way or another,
well, even Tesla, it turns out, doesn't like tariffs. That company, owned by President Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk, has sent a letter to the administration warning that it could be affected by retaliatory tariffs from the escalating trade war. Tesla's value has been decimated by the markets. The Dow appears headed for its worst week in 2 years, even though right now, as you can see, it's up nearly 600 points. But as of last night, more than $5 trillion in value had been wiped from the markets in just 3 weeks. The fact that even Elon Musk's company, which essentially just got a bunch of free advertising, bringing in their cars to the White House, is raising red flags now.
Well, they're getting killed overseas. I mean, if you look at their European sales, I believe they were down 75% in February and down 60% in January. The stock's been cut in half from its all-time high, so that's a 50% decline. We'd call that, in any other set of circumstances, a crash in the stock. So if sales are falling overseas and you're about to be putting tariffs on goods coming in from overseas, expect retaliatory tariffs, or even, as you've seen in Canada, they're pulling American products off the shelves. You could see that type of backlash, which Elon Musk, both in the polls and in sales, is seeing for whatever, whichever unpopular moves he happens to be making on any given day.
Okay. So how does tariffs work? So we put a tariff on Canada. And we say 25% for anything that you want to import here. And they put a 25% tariff on us and say anything that you want to order from us, you're going to pay a 25% tariff. So our farmers who actually get, let's say they get soybean, like he said. They get their soybean from Canada. Let's just say that hypothetically. What they're going to do is, if they want to get that soybean, they are going to pay 25% more. Now, they're not going to take in that cost. What they're going to do is they're going to put that cost onto the consumer, put it onto us. It would work the same way if Canada gets something from us and they needed to, let's say they get coffee from us, and they don't, but let's just say they do. Then what would happen is, whenever they get that, then there would be a 25% tariff on that. The government's talking points is that this is somehow supposed to make people start going back to making things in America, because it's going to be too expensive for them to get those things overseas. Problem with that is that the world has changed, and economically we're all connected, and everybody is getting stuff from everywhere throughout the world. And so it's not likely that the United States is going to start producing everything here in the U.S. So then you have to think about, what do we get overseas? What do we get to use overseas? I'm going to show you one video, and Robin, you can go on and talk. I'm going to get this video and put it up. If it interrupts,
The problem,
stop it.
okay. The problem that I have with this is the tariffs. The Trump said is that this is supposed to protect jobs. This is supposed to increase our tax revenue. It's all supposed to give us, close the gap that we have on trading. We trade too much among other countries to where this tariff is going to be more detrimental to us, which they're saying we have to go with the bad before we get to the good. But the length of time, this is not an overnight fix. So putting this tariff on other countries, I think is going to be more detrimental to us than it is going to be helpful, especially, and they say for a little while, but I think it's going to be for quite a while.
It is. So just a snapshot. It is a lot of things. You're going to find out some of those things tonight. There's a lot of things that we get overseas. When our stores and our manufacturers get those things, order those things, they're going to pay a much higher. Some of these tariffs are going up to like 50%. So if I was buying, just imagine that you bought some meat for $3 and now it's 50% higher. Well, that 50% is what they're going to put back on us, and because there's no common thought that they're all going to absorb these costs, so it's going to go back to us. And it is several countries that are doing these retaliatory tariffs, and we're going to show you one of the videos now about that.
Everyone hears about them, but how do they actually impact you?
Today we're breaking down the tariffs placed on the United States by other countries and what that means for your wallet. Let's start with the numbers. Canada has hit the United States with 25% tariffs on steel, aluminum, and consumer goods, making construction and everyday items more expensive. China imposed 10% tariffs on meat, energy, and tech products, meaning your grocery bill and electronics could get pricier. Mexico retaliated with 25% tariffs on U.S. pork, cheese, steel, and apples, hitting farmers hard. India set a massive 70% tariff on apples, almonds, and walnuts, making it tougher for U.S. farmers to sell overseas. The European Union added 50% tariffs on U.S. steel, agriculture, and whiskey, affecting industries and small businesses alike. So, what does this mean for you? Higher prices on everyday goods, from food to appliances to cars. Struggling industries, especially farmers and manufacturers who rely on exports. The ripple effect, when businesses pay more, those costs get passed straight to the consumer.
So who's really paying the price? You are?
Stick with us as we break it all down, who profits, who struggles, and how we can prepare.
I just want to go through those countries one more time, just so you can kind of catch on to those.
Hit the United States with 25% tariffs on steel, aluminum, and consumer goods, making construction and everyday items more expensive. China imposed 10% tariffs on meat, energy, and tech products, meaning your grocery bill and electronics could get pricier. Mexico retaliated with 25% tariffs on U.S. pork, cheese, steel, and apples, hitting farmers hard. India set a massive 70% tariff on apples, almonds, and walnuts, making it tougher for U.S. farmers to sell overseas. The European Union added 50% tariffs on U.S. steel, agriculture, and whiskey, affecting industries and small businesses alike. So,
okay, so that was so far, that is Canada, Mexico, Canada, Mexico, China. Did he say China? Japan.
Yes, I think it's
And
in both.
yeah, and India and the European nations in Europe. So that's Europe, India, China, um, Canada,
Okay.
and Mexico. That's the ones that are currently um, having retaliatory um, uh, tariffs on the U.S. Also, several of those countries like Germany and Canada are taking our products off of the shelf, so they're not being sold in their country anymore. When they say aluminum, you can almost think of everything that you could possibly think of, like uh, the washing machines, the dryers, the Coca-Cola cans, the food, canned vegetables, canned fruit, everything that we get in cans, which is a lot of stuff. Um, Sidings, uh, construction materials, all of these kind of things, or things that are going to cost more to produce.
You the like I said, the problem I have with this is Donald said he had a plan and he had a vision for this. Now, in order for you to have a plan and a vision, you have to strategize. You can't come up with a decision that's going to affect everyone in every aspect, some kind of way. Now, his plan is for us to lessen this gap so that it can help our country. But if we're going to lessen the gap and we're getting all these materials from different countries, wouldn't it be beneficial for us to strengthen our own country first within our resources that we have before we start cutting off the ones that we need from other people? And I'm gonna go to the first thing I think about is the farmers. Now, the farming, there was a lawsuit put in order back in 1999 by the U.S. Commission of Customs of Civil Rights, saying that black farmers were not getting uh, the same equal fairness to the white farmers. They weren't able to buy land like they wanted to. They weren't able to get the loan money they needed to buy equipment or grant that was there for them but not available for black farmers. Now, this lawsuit has been in action since 1999. In 2024, it was finally given to the farmers to over $2 billion. This money is sitting there still waiting to be allocated. Donald went in there and cut that money off so that the farmers can't get it. Now, if you're trying to strengthen us, why will you take away from us so that we can produce more of the resources that we need? How are you helping us? How are you helping American people? It just says to me that you're doing not to help us as a country, as a people. You're doing to help you to make yourself look good and to hopefully make people think that you're really doing something when actuality you're not. You're just taking away from us. We're trying to give our country the resources, the food, the things that we need so that we don't have to resource those out. And you're taking away our funding, and that goes also with other things. I mean, at this rate in time, with given other countries, they already had some tariffs at a 5 to 15%. Now he's increasing that to another 5 to 15% again. And if he continues to increase, as it stands now, at the 10 to 15% that we will have to pay tariffs, every household is looking to pay at least what is it, $900 to $1,600 per year more on things that we use every day in our life, and that's just at a 10 to 15% increase. Which that increase is they're talking about what, up to 25, 50%.
25%, 25% up for some, 50%, and some are even up as high, could go up even higher than that. I've heard numbers like 60 and above. So, and the thing is, it's the United States against everybody. Uh, there are countries, Germany, Denmark, are having issues with us right now because we want to. we want to, or no, I'm not going to say we, I'm going to say he wants Greenland, and that's a violation of international laws. So there, you got the tariffs, and then you got other things that's going on uh, everywhere that is having an effect on how we're looked in the United States. Now, I will tell you that Trump's approval is down from 54% to 42%. So it's going down. He's just a couple of points from in the 30s. So I've never seen anyone in the 30s. I've seen them as low as 42 though. You're absolutely right, Robin, when you say I don't know how this is helping us, but I do know that it helps us to understand what's going on and how these tariffs work and how they're going to. The tariffs literally are a tax on the consumers. It's a 25% tax on you in every area. A lot of things are affected here. We're talking about the wiring that they use for for the electrical industry, which is your electricity. Uh, Pipes and things are used for everything from water to electricity uh, to in the framing of our homes. And so all of these things are going to be significantly higher. Now, we were talking weeks back that they are going to do tariffs. Well, now we're speaking in real time, and the tariffs are already on us. Um, they are Canada's tariffs are in effect. Now, it's something important that we need to know about Canada. Justin Trudeau is no longer the Prime Minister of Canada, and I'm going to tell you why that's even important. Uh, Matt Carney is the new Prime Minister of Canada, and he's lock and step in for his philosophy is very much like Justin Trudeau. So the tariffs are going to stay in effect. But what I did not know, and what you may not know, is that Trump um, wants Canada to be the 51st state of the United States, and that's adding fuel to this. And according to Carney, Canada will never ever be part of the United States. And so there is some argument about that. There's some not good feelings about our interest in not ours, his interest in uh, making Canada the 51st state, which begs us to wonder: is it that we wants Greenland? He wants uh, Canada to be the 51st state. Is it really fentanyl that's the problem? Or is it the acquisition, acquiring more land and power? What is the real motivation? Is the motivation fentanyl? Because um, both of these places are Greenland has their own government, and of course, we all know about Canada, and Canada is like it will never happen in a million years. You will not get Canada to be part of the United States and fall up under um, our government.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's definitely about having more land and more powerful, because those are standalone states, and and Donald feels like if he could take those over, he will be more powerful, more successful. He's like I said, he's trying to create a dictatorship over other countries, and Canada have already expressed to him that's not happening. That's never going to happen. So you can leave that conversation at the table because it's never going to happen. But he is trying to take over to show that he is this powerful, I don't know, a ram of a person, and it's just beginning to make the United States look sad and pathetic. So while he's trying to do his best to take other countries down to with the tariffs and different things. He's bringing the United States down. He's bringing more. He's taking money out of our pockets, trying to prove a point. I think what he's doing. She's trying to prove a point, and it's taking money from us.
So, according to Trump, he wants to merging with Canada, making Canada part of the 51st state, um, would eliminate tariffs because he wouldn't have a tariff because it would be part of the United States, reduce taxes, and increase security. That idea has been widely rejected throughout Canada. And when the new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, he is, from what I can gather, he's a pretty smart man and he's very strategic. So we'll have to see how that's going to pan out. Now, what he's not going to do right now is reduce or get rid of any of Justin Trudeau's tariffs, but he may be a lot more strategic in his approach in dealing with the United States on various fronts. Now, I don't know what his position is, but it is a gentleman part of the government. I don't know. He's considered a equivalent to a senator or what. I don't know what his role is, but I did see him on the news the other day, and he was talking about going as far as turning the electricity off that we get from Canada. Now, that would not affect us in Texas, but it would affect New York. It would affect New York, Minnesota, I believe, and New Hampshire, I believe. And so that's one thing. And that's one thing. So they're even talking about like turning off electricity. Our products are being taken off the shelves. So this is a very serious thing. If you heard the lady earlier, she was talking about we lost nearly $1 trillion in one day. Now, $1 trillion is more money than we can even fathom. However, you have to look at the big picture. There's, several $100 trillion in the country, but to lose $1 trillion in one day in our stock market is all over the place. So how do we survive? What do we do? How do we make it? And we will make it. We will definitely make it. We will definitely. We're really good at surviving. I think poor people in general typically are good in surviving. I know that Black people are definitely good in surviving. A lot of this is not shocking us. We really saw this coming. It's even the other things, even the attempt to get Greenland and attempt to get Canada, or the conversation around getting Canada, is not surprising. I don't think it's anything that Trump could do that would surprise us. And of course, we talked a couple of episodes before about how we're not going to march and all that stuff. We're really focusing on using our money more wisely and becoming more educated in how to use our money. So one thing is groceries is a big part of our life. So how do we get around these really high costs that we have no control over with limited resource? I'd say we go back to old school. And we really think about the meals we're going to prepare. And Robin, I know you have a garden. So talk about that.
Starting a garden is one of the first things we probably can do. Go and get you some seeds, and once you get your product from your garden, you can always learn how to can, freeze different vegetables and things. One of the things we talked about also the other day, Tim, is what are some things that we could stock up on now that we know are going to hit the tariff? Some of the things that you like. You might want to also invest into a deep freezer. We were talking about during the pandemic, you couldn't find a deep freezer because everyone was buying them. Get you a big deep freezer. You might have to go and stock up on some of the things that you like, because more than likely they're gonna be in a high tariff cost. they talked about on the news how we get so many of our resources from other countries. But if you're into almonds and chocolate, just in different forms, cocoa powder and just natural chocolate, they are going to hit the tariffs the highest because those are some of the highest resources that we get from other countries. Avocados is another thing that's going to be expensive. Our fruits and vegetables, even in a can, are going to be expensive because of the aluminum. And you talked about the stock market. We haven't been in a recession since 2007, 2009, and the specialists are saying now the way the stock market is looking, we're seeing the same effect that happened during that recession in 2007, and they're afraid that we're going to go back into another recession because of these tariffs. So we have to do what we can that's going to beneficiate your family so that you can not feel that push or that pull on your income in any kind of way. Do what's beneficial for your family to help your family stock up on the things you need. You might have to, like I say, stockpile. And of course, when you say stockpile, we always hear the first thing: beans, rice, dry goods, things like that. But it's other things that you are going to need to buy or want to buy, and learn how to preserve those things so that they still will be good in another year or 2 years to come. So you might just have to look into those things because, like Tammy said, we will survive. We've been here before, maybe not in this form, but we've been here before. If you've ever had to live on a budgeted income, we have learned how to make it through those times. We will make it through this time. But this time we're older, we're wiser. We have to strategize a plan that we didn't set, but a plan that we're put into. We have to strategize it so that we can come out on the victory end of this whole recession or tariff war that we're going to go through.
We're used to luxuries. We're really used to luxuries. We have our iPhones, we have our tablets, we have our computers, we have this. But I say that we go back to Big Mama because they knew, and go back to, I'm not saying go back to, but in our minds, they have a paradigm shift. How did they survive and how did they make it on very little resources? And yet all our stomachs were full. All of the things that we maybe not wanted but needed. And this is that time when we have to really start to think about what do we need as opposed to what we want. And this is how we're going to get through this. I do have a video, and I was going to say this anyway, and then when I was making the video, it was one of the clips in there, but about using sustainable gardens and farmers, going to the farmers market and stuff. I know I was going to ask my mom if she wanted to start going to the farmers market, and one of the things that we're doing in my family is, because we are refused to shop in some places and definitely want to try to cut it out completely, like Walmart, looking at stores that not as big as Walmart, but a decent sized grocery store, and that sells, and their costs are a lot cheaper. Maybe we bag our own stuff, and that's okay, and that's quite all right. Shoot, we go to all these other stores and we check our own stuff out and bag it every day. So that's something that we're doing, and I think this is when the shoulders that we stand on, that we start to utilize the lessons that they taught us on how to survive. So let me show you this video.
On steel, aluminum, electronics, and groceries, many consumers are feeling the pinch, but don't worry. There are smart ways to navigate these challenges and keep your budget in check. Let's dive into strategies that can help you save money and make informed purchases. When it comes to groceries, the key is to shop smart. Buying local and seasonal produce can help avoid tariff-driven price hikes on imports. If canned goods are getting expensive due to aluminum tariffs, switch to glass jars or bulk dried goods. Electronics prices can surge due to tariffs on imported parts. Consider refurbished or certified pre-owned devices, look for bundle deals, and compare prices across different retailers to find the best discounts. If a new purchase isn't urgent, waiting for seasonal sales might save you big. From home renovations to vehicles, steel and aluminum tariffs can drive up costs. Explore alternative materials, check for domestic suppliers, and negotiate for older inventory that may be priced lower. If you're buying a car, consider leasing options instead of purchasing. Being strategic with your purchases can make a huge difference. Whether it's groceries, electronics, or home projects, smart shopping can help you stretch your budget further. Stay informed, compare prices, and make choices that work for you.
So it said a couple of good things in there. Finding refurbished or certified refurbished items may work. Maybe not the newest, but that's in good condition. That there's no need to go overseas to get parts. It's already here. So looking for things like that. The same thing with cars and vehicles, being strategic about how we purchase them. He mentioned lease. You could also do pre-owned, something that's already here and nobody just recently built it. And then one of the ones I like a lot is the farmers going to places like farmers market where the farmers are struggling anyway, and so by going to farmers market as opposed to the regular grocery stores, because think about it, these big grocery stores are going to be having to pay these prices to get these items, and these big grocery stores are going to be uh, putting that price off on us. So these smaller places that's actually growing these items here in the United States might be better choices.
Some of the things that people might not think about as far as this tariff hitting us, and that's in clothes and shoes. I know a lot of people like the Shein and the Temu. All of those things are going to be taxed with the tariffs. And what I think what will be beneficial if we can teach our children to take better care of the things that they have, their clothes and their shoes, so that they can last them a little longer to make it through this time. uh you think about shoes. A boy on average, you probably buy him maybe two pairs of shoes a month. Some people do. So they might have to take care of them and wear them a little bit longer so that they last through this recession. You might have to go out now and buy some buck sizes, to go up a couple of sizes and buy some more shoes if it's in your budget. Only you know your budget for you and your family. These are just some suggestions that I'm throwing out there.
And I think it's a good idea to have this conversation with your family and you educate our kids, our grandkids, husband and wives, people with families need to sit down and have a talk. Tariffs, you know, can run over our head just like DEI does and CRT, just run over our heads. But these things, all of them, are having an impact on our uh, our ability to hold jobs, our abilities to be educated, and our abilities to take care of ourselves. And so I think that definitely um, we need to definitely pay attention to these things now, because they're up in front and they're front and center in our lives, and as well as what is going on. I hope that everyone knows that they were just passing the budget in the Senate. I know a lot of Democrats that they wasn't going to um, approve it, but I noticed Schumer, uh, I think he's House minority. Is Schumer House minority? Yeah, that he is saying that he's going to go on and support the bill, and in that, I mean, support the budget being approved, and in that budget, there, watch your Medicaid, watch your Social Security, uh, watch your things like that. and because they're going to be directly tied to this new budget that just came out.
The money we was talking about, a family going from $900 to $1,600 per year extra with just the current tariffs of 10 and 15%, which that is subject to change to go more. So if we're talking about $1,600 per year, you're looking at an extra $300 or $400 a year on groceries, an extra $300 or $400 when you go to have your car service, an extra $300 or $400 when you go to buy clothes for your kids, and that is adding up or will add up. And like I say, this is just the beginning because they're talking about increasing, so it could go to even $2,000 or $3,000 more per year out of your pocket. And the key factor is, like you said, your money. It doesn't matter what those tariffs go up or what the prices are. It doesn't matter if you don't have the finances or a job to buy those things. So like you say, you have to be aware of where your money is coming from. You have to be aware of like where you work for. All these government people are getting laid off. A lot of people in the car industry are being laid off. So you have to learn how to cut corners wherever necessary. And if we don't have income coming in, that's going to make that cutting budget even worse or harder.
So what do we get out of this today? Well, one thing that we've gotten is, we understand that we get things like nuts, our coffee, our aluminum, our steel, our fruit, our vegetables, electronics. All of those things come from overseas. And even if we don't build a car overseas, with the parts come from overseas. And so whenever we order anything, they are going to charge us a tariff on it. When whenever we sell anything or try to get anything, businesses try to get anything from other countries, they're going to charge us a tariff. Now the flip side of that is when we buy something and they, like you buy from Sheen and then they send it here. Well, since Sheen is going to be charged an extra 25%, Sheen is going to add on to that price when we order, and we are going to pay for that. Now, before all of this tariff stuff, if we ordered some things, let's say from Sheen or Temu, and it was under $800, that tariff did not apply. It applied on big dollar things. But now that's not going to be the case. And so what we have to understand is, going or coming, we are going to pay for it. Now, that's the same thing that's going to apply to Canada. Going or coming, they're going to pay for it. Now, the thing about Canada is they're taking our stuff off the shelves, so I don't even know what they're going to be ordering from us. But that's going to make their economy, which their economy is struggling, is like ours. And so it's going to hit people, not just us. It's going to hit everywhere. But our concern, our podcast, is about how do we survive it. So going, exporting, or importing, either way you look at it, we are going, some cost is going in our pockets. If I order something, I'm going to pay the extra cost. That's coming out of my pocket. If I buy something local in the United States that was purchased overseas and shipped here, uh, then that's going to cost more. If I have something in the United States and I want to send it over to one of those countries, uh, I'm going to charge them more for it. And so they're going to have to pay more, and then that cost is going to roll off into their consumers. So we know that. We understand that, Canada is going through a shift, so we have to see how that's going to impact us. There is talk out there about the electricity in some states, being taken, turned off, and also this even affects oil and gas. One other thing, just one thing before I forget this, there is talk overseas, like with Canada, with Mexico, about targeting the southern states farmers.
Mm. Mm. You know, Donald talked about the retaliatory tariff rising. I don't know if he forgot that he started this. You know, he started this rise in these tariffs, and it doesn't seem to me that the other countries are afraid of what he says or what he does. With that being said, I think that as much as he think he's in control, they feel like they're in control, and they're gonna rise as on their tariffs as much as he does. So we don't know where this is going to end, but we do know that we are in the middle of it. He says that this is supposed to fix our economy. This is supposed to fix us as a nation. Um, that's yet to be seen. We're still
My,
in the beginning stages.
my concern is that it's not like China's having a tariff war with Mexico and with India. They just have it with the United States, but the United States is having a tariff war with at least 6 different countries, and these are just the one, and then another 10 fights. So you got, but these 6 countries, it's like all of them almost feel like we're in a gang fight because all of them are coalescing around each other. And since we don't want to be part of the United Nations and we don't want to be part of who, we're kind of on the outside now. And I know United States is big and bad, but I don't know if they're big and bad against the world. But okay, we'll find out. Uh, and so, the other countries in the world, the other countries around the world are seeming like they're on the same page, and we're the outlier, which is not usually how it is. So uh,
Mm.
we can't do anything. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna protest any of this. I'm not gonna go out and march for anything. And so what we have to do is buy black businesses, buy stuff from black business. Of course, we always want to support that. If there is a sustainable garden, and there are some black-owned sustainable gardens locally, then try to support them. Um, and then, and even if it isn't, we still should be supporting. I mean, you could save some money by getting the local farms and stuff like that, the farmers.
Yeah.
But that black
I
farmer,
want to say this.
that,
I've been
go on, Robin.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no,
Go
no.
ahead. I want to say this, and I've been wanting to say this since this whole thing kind of started a few months. Black business owners. We're in a time where a lot of people are looking for to do business with us. Please be mindful of employees and the way they treat their customers. Word of mouth can break or make a business. Everybody is not in the business, or everybody doesn't have the social skills to be in the business of relating or handling customers. Please be mindful of how you treat these people. We want every minority business to be successful, but with that comes a lot of responsibility and how you treat and you serve us. Please be mindful how you do business. Do the right thing. Be good to the people. Customers are not always right, so we know you're going to find some crazy customers, but just be mindful how you treat your customers. That's all.
Um, let's see, Robin. Oh, we got just a few more minutes. So bread. I mean, not bread. Rice, grains, beans. I just say go back to the old school. I mean, I'll make a pot of whatever, chicken and dumplings one day, beans and graham meat and cornbread the next day. You know, we know how to make hot water cornbread. We know how to survive. We know how to survive. And we know how to buy groceries on a dime. And we that is what we need to go back. We are somewhat used to some of the luxury things. I know I am. It's a struggle every day. But, you know, I have to tell myself these same things. And Robin is naturally cheap. So she doesn't struggle with this like I do. And so I get it.
I'm frugal. I'm frugal. I'm not cheap.
Whatever. What- Whatever. She'll tell me in a minute, and down to the dollar of it's overpriced and stuff. And I think we do have to get more like the Robins of the world that, really do take this serious and go out and uh, not just throwing our money away on things. And we love our electronics and all of that, and trying to hold on to them and taking care of them a little longer. And I don't know if it's smart right now to get little Johnny a new PlayStation every year. I don't know if that's a smart move for the average family. And then a lot of us do it, and we don't even have, we're struggling with paying light bill, but we'll get little Johnny that PlayStation. Well, I don't really think this is the time for that. And so we have
You know
to.
what? With you saying that, it's okay to let your kids know some of the things that we have to go through as parents when it comes to paying bills and the reality of what it takes to make a house run. That way, they're not shocked when they get of age and they realize the electric bill is due. If they have to pay for the water, they have to pay for, that shower, that bath they want to take. Let them in on some of the bills that you're paying and some of the ways that you have to manage your money so that it won't be a shock to them as well.
One of our viewers know me personally, and they just call me Miss DoorDash. Like I
Right.
said, I'm a work in progress. See, we're never above anybody. We're always with everyone, and so we say these things, and we're learning every day ourselves. And I thought that was so appropriate for her to call me Miss DoorDash. Uh, we all have our struggles, and that's mine. And but it's just not the time for it. And I'll have to curve that, like others. I have to curve theirs. Oh God, it's a work in progress. Um,
That is funny. And Tammy calling me, what you say, cheap. I've
uh,
never DoorDash because I think DoorDash the prices are ridiculous. And she always justifies it with, I get a discount because I do it so much. Okay, okay.
so see, we all struggle with this, but these tariffs might make DoorDash a thing of the past, or if how that affects us. So we just have to be mindful, and we have to keep working at this. But I know for a fact that we all have it. If you're not rich, if you're what used to be middle income, there's no such thing anymore. You're either poor or you're rich. It's not a lot of wiggle room in there anymore. And then we need to go back to some of our uh, some of our lessons learned. And we have learned lessons. And then we need to teach our kids about economy and how the tariffs work and how that affects our household. I do not think kids need to be in the dark on this one. I think they need to understand that, and you can come up with language that they can understand, but there is something going, let them know that there is something going on in the world right now that's making things cost more, and we are going to have to watch our pockets a little better. And I think it might make our kids a little better and make them a little bit more responsible. And it might, who knows, our kids are thrown off. uh Robin, your 1 minute.
All righty. First of all, I definitely like to thank y'all for joining us again on this Monday. This tariff war is not something that we initiated. So we don't have a strategic plan set in place. But because we were placed in it, we will definitely come out of it. Only you know the plans for your family. Only you know your family's budget. So budget with your family. Sit down and have a family discussion. Come up what makes your family operate in this best ability. Once again, we want to send our condolences and prayers not only to the victim but also to the accuser at the middle school that was stabbed last week. Thank you again for joining us and have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. What I would want to leave with is this: pay close attention to what's going on in the government, because you're going to want to know who's introducing bills to cut things, cut jobs, cut your Medicaid, cut your insurance, mess with prescriptions, because that's like going on top of the tariffs. And I think this is very important that we start to look at that right now before the midterm election, so that we'll be wiser, we will have facts behind us, and we will make sound and educated decisions about what we do in the voting booth. All of these things are intermingled. They are connected to one another. The tariffs is a political thing. And the motives behind the tariffs is anybody's guess. Uh, It'd be wise and would behoove us not to accept things on face value and look at what is done. These politicians, we have a lot of them in the Senate, and more in the House of Representatives. When they are voting on bills and when they're introducing bills, allow us to share some of those bills with you and try your best to remember some of this. If someone is voting to cut your Medicaid or voting to cut education and all these things, there is going to be a cost to you and your family, and you need those things. So we have a short memory. We need to stop having a short memory and utilize our long-term memory so that we can remember what actually occurred, not what people said, what actually occurred. That would be my thing. And continue to listen and pay close attention to tariffs and make the necessary adjustments in your personal lives. We thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next Monday. And everyone have a very nice evening. Oh, can I say, don't forget my books, Rub Sage, Fire Unfinished, and Trinity's River. Uh, you can purchase them. You can even ask for them when you see us on the podcast, and I'll definitely respond. And there's lots of information about them on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Hidden Voices No More. Good night.
Bye.
Let's listen to my mother's beautiful voice.
Can I wave my hand? I'm gonna wave it. I'm gonna wave my hand. I'm talking to my Savior. Can I wave my hand? Can I just talk to the Lord? Can I wave it up? Wave my hand. Can I wave my hand up? Can I wave my hand up? God's been just that good.